In this video, you're going to get to find out about the journey of the sun and the earth around the human design mandala and where they are today on September 21st. And tomorrow is the equinox. So it's this fall equinox here in the northern hemisphere and the spring equinox for our friends in the southern hemisphere. And we're going to get to dive into all of that today. And we have a beautiful, beautiful center that is lit up, the G center, which we also think of it as the heart center. And so that's what we're going to dive in today. Okay, let's get started. So today the sun has moved into the gate 46, which is the gate of the love of the body or embodiment. And the earth has moved into the gate 25, which is known as love of spirit or simply spirit. These two gates are on the G center, which if you have it defined in your chart, it'll be a yellow diamond here in your heart. And it's what we think of as the heart center. It's the center for love, lovability, identity, and direction. So anytime we have gates that are lit up by the sun and earth that are on the G center, it's a time to celebrate because it's really a beautiful energy of that heart. Now, just so that you don't get confused, the will center, which is right next to it, it's over here on the left-hand side of the body, is also part of what we think of as the heart chakra, the heart center. And they are connected by a channel. And one of the gates that we have that's lit up right now is part of that channel, not the whole channel, but the 25, which is coming off of the G center and pointing at the will center that's lit up. So if you have the 51, like I do, then you're getting that whole channel lit up and you're going to get a defined will center, which is kind of cool because not that many of us have a defined will center. So you may be getting some extra power and energy because of the alignment that we're in right now for the next 5 days or so. In traditional human design, every one of the gates of the G center is known as the love of something. And then in quantum human design, they've been updated. And so for the gate 46, which is in the sensing circuit, so it's creative, right-brained, experiential energy, and it's embodied. And the 46 is now also known as embodiment now. And so it's our opportunity to really get to experience our life fully in this beautiful form that we've been gifted with, right? And that gives us everything that we need to be able to have this earth experience. And yet so many of us are disconnected from our bodies. A lot of us tend to live up here or even up here. And so this is an opportunity for us while the sun is lighting it up is to be like, wow, what is it like to actually be in my body? How can I love my body? This is especially challenging in general for women because of our conditioning, because the overculture is so negative towards women and our bodies. And we're presented a very, very narrow band of appearance that is deemed acceptable or deemed beautiful or attractive, right? And women, of course, just like men, come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes and colors and all of that, right? And so that really narrow band can be harmful to our psyches and especially to young girls and teenagers and women in their 20s. So if you are carrying any of that, just know this is a great opportunity for you to be letting that go and bringing the sun into your sense of embodiment and your love of the body. You can really heal yourself to some degree during this time because the sun is so benevolent and powerful, right? You can invite that sun into your awareness about being embodied, about being in a body. And you can do beautiful practices where you just, put your hands on your body and say, I love you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, just feel how good you are. Oh yeah, I love that, right? You can take baths, you can oil yourself, you can get a massage. You can be with, if you have a partner, you can be with your partner who can tell you how beautiful your body is. And then you can reciprocate and tell your partner how beautiful their body is. So it's a beautiful time to do that because we tend, like I said, we tend to not really be in our bodies. And we certainly tend not to love our bodies so much. I mean, I've talked to many women who are, really empowered women in a lot of ways. They still have energy about their bodies. So I just want to invite you to be kind to yourself during this time and really be kind to each other. Let's amplify the sense of love of the body. And then the sun in the 46 is resting on the earth in the 25. So the 25 is also in that beautiful G center, and it is part of that channel that I was just talking about, which is the channel of the priest or priestess or the shaman. And it's what connects the two different parts of the heart chakra together, the will center and the G center. And it's a really potent channel of initiation. And the 25 is known as love of spirit in traditional human design, or simply spirit in quantum human design. And it really is about our spiritual connection, our relationship to ourselves as spiritual beings. And I love that we get the love of the body and the love of spirit together at the same time, because it's when we really ground ourselves in our love of spirit that we can also fully embody. Which might seem counterintuitive to you in some way. Like if we're really in our spirit, we're really in that expanded state, we may not feel like so much like we're in the body. And yet, if we do not embody, we cannot reach our highest expression as an elevated, evolved being here on the planet. Because this is our home, right? It's our home. The other thing is that the body is incredibly intelligent. I mean, the body is made up of something in the neighborhood of 70 trillion cells, half of which are bacterial, right? So we're really in a beautiful dynamic relationship with bacteria, which is where life came from and continues to come from here on the planet. So it helps connect us to our kind of cosmic, but embodied and incarnated experience of self. Right? Because when we start to realize, wow, I'm living in this community of so many cells, each of which has its own role and its own job and its own little life doing its thing, right? And if you tune into that, it's easy to get kind of excited about, wow, what an incredible body that I have. And if you can kind of lean into this sense of, the body isn't so much an object, right? It's not something you just move through space, which is how we tend to think of it. And it's not just mechanical, which is also what we inherit from Newtonian physics, right? Which would teach the body like it's a machine. You see this in the gym all the time, right? Okay, it's a lever, right? I'm just going to lever it. I'm going to build up my muscle, right? It's a lever. No, it's not. The body actually works through spirals, not through levers. I mean, we can do this, but the way the body's really designed to work, you can even see here, the muscle goes up and over and around my shoulder. It's a spiraling action, right? So we want to acknowledge our bodies, and I love our bodies, and learn more about the body. It's a good time to learn more about the body as well. And our spiritual connection can really enliven and heal and uplift our bodies as well. So as you're leaning into that love of the spirit, you can imagine that you're pouring, it's like the breath of your soul is coming in. You're pouring it more and more into your physical body. You're inviting your spirit in. There's no end to how much we can incarnate, because our soul is always so much bigger than what our human form can actually hold or what our psyches can handle. So we can continue to incarnate and bring in that beautiful soul essence. And it helps to enliven all the little cells of the body. It helps to wake up the codes of light upon which our physical body is formed. So if we think of this as this beautiful relationship between form and formlessness, right? The spirit is formless. It's the waves of energy, right? And then the form is the particles that have dropped out of those waves and then have come together in all these different configurations to make you. Isn't that cool? So this is a great time for you to be looking at the relationship between your body, your spirit, and how can you have them really support each other, nourish each other, have communication with each other. Because sometimes I know for me, like my spirit has messages for me about how I need to take better care of my body. Because, I'm like anybody else. I can, go off and all of a sudden realize I'm not really taking such good care of my body because I'm busy or I'm on the computer too much or whatever, right? And so we want to be able to get those messages from spirit about how we can take care of of our bodies. But then we also want to tune into the miracle and the wisdom of the body, because it's through that wisdom of the body that the spirit can often speak to us. Our intuition, which is the voice of spirit, right? Your own soul essence is your voice of your intuition. And it a lot of times comes through the body. And in the human design authorities, especially with the sacral authority, but actually with all of them, and they're all kind of body based. How does it feel in your body when you are leaning into thinking about something and wanting to make a decision of it, right? Well, that has to do with the relationship of your body to your spirit, because your spirit is what's responding, but it's coming through your body. So I love this transit because I think it's just such a great time for us to be paying attention to, and then also uplifting our relationship to our spirit body, right? Yeah, so it's a good time for that. We have the equinox that's coming up on Sunday, the 22nd. And here in California, it's early in the morning. I ran the chart for it. It's virtually the same as it is for on Saturday. The moon moves through different gates multiple times a day. So the moon's always going to be moving. But we're coming off of a really potent full moon, super full moon in Pisces with a lunar eclipse. And so you may still be feeling that as well. And we have this equinox and this lunar eclipse relatively close to each other. Then we have another solar eclipse coming up in short order right on October 2nd. So we'll talk more about that in the transit report that comes up for October. But just to say that we are in eclipse season. And so we are in a time of really potent change happening right now. I want to just remind you that Pluto is still moving through Capricorn. I don't know about you, but I've been having some really deep imprints, some of which are not from this life. Some of them aren't even mine. Some of them are more ancestral. Some of them are more from the soul's journey. And I've had this really deep imprints that have been coming out. And yeah, they're, painful while they're coming out. But I feel so much better now that they have. And this is what Pluto does for us. And Pluto is the god of the underworld, which for us is the subconscious. And he's just in there going, what needs to be released? Like, what of this old order needs to be released? And for me, part of it's from my soul journey, and part of it's from my ancestry. So I think that's true for a lot of us. And there is a big benefit for us to be able to be releasing these old imprints. And definitely eclipses are helping with that as well, because they kind of cover things over and then bring them out, to let the light out again, right? So we can have that kind of feeling of things that were in the shadow, that were hidden away. All of a sudden we can see, right? It's like, whoa, all of a sudden it's there. So just notice this for yourself, really all the way through towards the end of November. We're going to be experiencing this. And the equinox is, in the earth-based spirituality, which celebrates the equinoxes and the solstices and what we call the cross-quarter days, comes out of the Celtic tradition, which is what my ancestry is from the Celts, who were really over most of old Europe and what's currently the British Isles. And so we recognize these different dates because they're related, they're earth-based spirituality. They're related to the sun and the earth, and the physical earth, the soil. And so this is generally a time of harvest, right? The last moon that we just had was the harvest moon. And so we're pulling together these elements of what have we been creating over these last 6 months. Now, this is Northern Hemisphere, right? What have we been creating over these last 6 months since the equinox we had in March when we were planting seeds? And now here we're harvesting. And for our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, it's going to be the opposite for you, because back in March, you were harvesting, right? And then you planted seeds through, our summer or through your winter. And now you're coming out into spring. And so things are sprouting for you. We're here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're harvesting and things are dying away. So wherever you are in the world, adjust this for what's right for you. But the main thing is just to take the time, look back 6 months where you were at the last equinox, whatever was happening there, and what has happened for you since then. If you've been planting seeds or if you've been growing things, what is it that is coming to fruition for you now? It's always nice to write a little bit in your journal. Take a few minutes, on Sunday to just reflect for yourself, or draw or pull together some images that are meaningful meaningful for you, that are inspiring for you. Make yourself a little collage that can carry you through the rest of the season, right? And you have something, it creates a little touchstone or a little talisman for you when you do that. And it just helps you not have to use your own energy so much for so many things. I think part of the challenge we have in our world today, when we don't have as much ritual and we don't have as many things that we're infusing our energy into, the way people used to do that, they owned fewer things, and the things that they owned were infused with more energy, and that really supported them to not have to use so much of their own energy. Where in our world today, our kind of overdeveloped world, we have so many things, we have too many things, and we don't invest them with really beautiful energy. And so I do that with my paintings. One of the reasons that my paintings are the way that they are, because we invest a lot of energy into them. So for you, think of something that you could create for yourself, a little ritual and a little talisman. And it could be as simple as getting a stone for yourself. If you don't have the time or the inclination right now to being more creative, just have something. You could go and get leaves or bark or a branch, but just something that is holding the energy for you for the next season. And next month, we're going to be working with the human design authorities in the Sovereign Sisterhood. And we just did an event recently that was about sacral skills demonstrated. And if you want to see the recording of that, you can come into our Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center, which is the larger retreat center. And the replay will be available there. But then we're going to take what we learned on that session. And in the month of October, we're in the Sovereign Sisterhood, which is our more in-depth membership. We're going to be working with authorities, and but not just sacral authority, but also ego authority, splenic authority, self-projected authority, lunar authority, all of those different things. So if you're wanting to be a part of a larger community of people who are using human design and the 8 pillars of feminine sovereignty to help us to grow ourselves and support each other to come into our full capacity, then I invite you to join us. We will go ahead and put the link down below. You can join us free for a week to come in and check it out, see how you like it. And this is our second month that we're in, and it's really growing, and the relationships are beautiful. And I invite you to come check it out if you would like to do some more work with me, but not just with me, but also with a community of change makers and seekers and possibility thinkers, as we are aiming to help bring in the core elements of our new world. Okay, many blessings. Much love. Bye for now.